Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, as you obviously know. Good to see all of you tuning in. Saturday night. I know it's late, so it's not a planned stream, but I thought, why not? I could just jump on and have a chat with you guys, because there's been so many breaking news today about doom and gloom injuries that the season is over. Everything is lost. Amass is out. Oh, yeah, I know it's a big blow, and we're not. I'm not happy about it, and we also know that Ugarte is injured, Collier is injured. Apparently, we don't have any more midfielders left in this team. But I want to choose to look on the bright side. I want to try to look at the positives. I know, forcing the positives, but it's how I am as a Man United supporter. If you're going to be constantly negative, doom and gloom, we all know that we will lose our faith pretty fast. And being a United supporter is always difficult, but I choose to look on the bright side, and I see now for the remainder of the season, Amorim being forced to start playing the academy players that we know we have. And it's a hidden secret, but it's a badly hidden secret. We know we have players like Sekou Kone, 19 years old, central midfielder. We have Ayden Heaven coming from Arsenal, left-footed centre-back. We have Jack Morehouse. He was in the travelling squad. Chido Obi, or Obi-Martin, as people like to call him. I don't know if Obi-Martin liked to be called that himself, but yes, we have Chido Obi. So a lot of these players are ready, I believe. And personally, I would rather play Sekou Kone than Casemiro. I would rather invest in the future than living in the past. I think the time of Casemiro, Eriksson is over, and I think it's a waste of time. How I see the Premier League table at the moment, we're currently 14th. If we lose against Spurs tomorrow, we will be in 15th place, I believe. And we can say that the season is it's done. I'm not really bothered if we come in 15th or 10th. There's some prize money, but besides that, it doesn't matter. So why not invest in the youth? I don't know what you guys think. I want to jump in and say hi to the people in the chat. A lot of people tuned in already. We have Mr. B coming in. Big up, Mr. B. We have Danny B in the house. Oh, Danny B, good to see you. We have Jarle Malmin, my fellow Norwegian, coming in and say, nah, no injury crisis. We only got 9 players injured. We are fine. It's just a flesh wound. Move along, move along. Reminds me of that old Monty Python sketch. You all know that the one with the knights fighting. Oh, this is just a flesh wound. He loses his arm and his other arm and his leg, just jumping on one leg. Yeah, it's crazy humor. Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny. Who else do we have here? We see a lot of other people. We have the Wootinator coming in. Big up Wootinator. He comes in with Jarvis, Danny, Elite, and Chat. And of course, we have Elite Baller, the elitist of them all. He comes in and say, we support the youngsters. Yes, we do. We support the team in good and bad times. And it's true. It's so true. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? What should Ten Hag do in a situation like this? Should we go with the narrative doom and gloom and bury yourself down in the sand and hide and be afraid, or should we see this as an opportunity for us to play the youngsters, to play the future, give them experience? Did I say Ten Hag? I sometimes do that. And I don't even mean it. Obviously I mean Amorim. If I said Ten Hag, I'm not aware. So sorry. Yes, we do need a laugh, but the Ten Hag has left the ship. Yeah. If I, you know me, I'm So if I ever say Ten Hag, I mean Amorim. That's just the way it is. Amorim. Let's see. Danny B comes in and say, Masraoui in the 6. Give Koné minutes depending on how the game is going in the end. Yeah, that's an opportunity. I'm not even thought about Masraoui as the defensive midfielder. Yeah, that could actually work. I know Masraoui is strong, is tactically good, positionally good. So yeah, I believe we could play him. Ten Hag. Yeah, that's good. Hey, Bath Time is in the house. Big up, Bath Time. Yeah, I saw you stream half an hour ago, and I know you gave me stick of my comparisons of Lenny Euro and Maldini, but let me explain myself. What I mean is, I remember young Maldini coming up in that AC Milan team. We are talking about late 80s now, and when he came out, he was like kind of like slanky and a little bit. I don't know. He wasn't the player that we knew in the end, but he learned the game and he had the composure. You could see he had the composure on the ball. You know, I love that AC Milan team, Arrigo Sacchi. You know, they had a lot of fantastic defenders. Baresi, you know, he was the mentor of Maldini. So if we only had a mentor like Baresi who could teach Lenny Euro, I believe he has what it takes to come and become a player like Maldini. You know, Maldini was right-footed. He played on the left. Same with Lenny Euro. I see parallels. So for me, I'm not saying he's close to Maldini now, but sometimes in the future. So that's just my thoughts. You know, I know it sounds stupid, but that's just what I'm thinking. Big up Mick. Mick is in the house. He say Jarvis, just in reference, Klopp last season had injuries and introduced 4 kids that did well. Kids tends to give it all proper themselves. Intercity, here we go. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's my thinking, you know, because I don't know, guys, if are you thinking about, you know, playing Ericsson, playing Casemiro? I don't think it gives us anything. And you know, it's not a be all and end all if we win or lose this game against Spurs. You know, if we lose, yeah, we come in 50, we are 15th in the table. If we win, we are 13th in the table, and still it's shit. So in a way, I don't see it matters. I just want to continue. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah. Ask Orna. Okay. It's my son Philip. He's still awake. He wants me to open up his iPad. Single dad at the weekend. So you have to excuse me. I have to open up his iPad. I'll give him, how many minutes should I give him? 10 minutes? Yeah. I think I give him 10 minutes. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So let me explain what I'm thinking about. Because everybody's talking the doom and gloom, and I want to focus on the opportunities instead. So this could be a huge chance for the young players to step up, and with Amorim forced to play them, we might see talents like Obi-Martin now, Sekou Kone, Harry Amass, Jack Fletcher, Kukonki, Ogunneye coming in. We all know about Ayden Heaven and Jack Morehouse is in the traveling squad. And we also seen this before under Louis van Gaal when we had that long injury streak and we pushed out new players. Rashford came in. We have so many of them. I can't even. Bortwick Jackson was one of them. You all know who I'm talking about. And you know, when one door closes, another door opens for new stars. But I also want to think about all these injuries. Why do they suddenly happening? You know, we have been through a period of a lot of games, playing 2 games a week, and I think Amorim has felt himself forced to play some of these players all the time, and we saw We saw Martinez getting injured because of this. I think he played almost every minute, never rested, and he broke his ACL, so he will be out for the rest of the year. And now we see Ahmad injured again, and both with Ugarte playing almost every minute, and now Collier also injured. So I don't know. Do you think maybe this is because of the match program? It's taking a toll. 2 months of 2 games a week every week. So I'm just speculating. So let me know what do you think. Elite Baller comes in and say, "Nah, I'm positive. I'm not a doom merchant like most of our fans." Yes, I know that, Elite Baller. You are one of the positives. So yeah, I agree. And Ahmad is free from 10 haram is in the house. Big up. Ahmad is free from 10 haram, but is also injured. Say, I hope Shay Lacey can stay fit. He would be in the first time right now if it wasn't for all his injuries. He's just a big as of a talent as and Vaneri. Yeah. The only thing that bothers me with Shay Lacey, I think he is too small. I think it will be too big of a step for him to come in the first team right now. The players I'm mentioning, Sekou Kone, he's 19, he's very athletic in his body. I think he's ready. He's strong. Ayden Heaven, also the same. Chido Obi-Martin, big player. I think the physicality of the Premier League is not the problem. So I see a lot of these young players are ready, but I'm not sure when it comes to Shay Lacey. I want to give, especially him, I want to give him a little bit more time. But I agree. He's a massive talent. And also Kukonki and Fletcher, they played well for the under 18s this morning, but it could be they could come on and play a couple of minutes on the bench. But that's probably it. I want to share something with you guys. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to bring it up here. This came out today. Let me just add it to the stage. So here you see breaking Chido Obi-Martin, Sekou Kone, Jack Morehouse, Harry Amass, and Ellie Anderson all have traveled with the MUFC squad to Spurs. So we see these are the guys who are available for this game, but there will be more chances for the rest of the youth. So at least I would hope to see Chido Obi, Sekou Kone, maybe Harry Amass. I'm not sure about this Jack Morehouse. I don't know if any of you have any info on him or seen him, or same with Ellie Harrison. Harrison, is he a goalkeeper? I'm not sure. But if you have any info, share it with us. Share it with the chat, so we can talk about them. Are their strong or weak weaknesses? But we all know about Obi-Martin. We made a show about him the other day. Sekou Kone, I think, is one of the best midfielders at this young age, and he has a high ceiling, as someone mentioned in the chat. Harry Amass, we saw him in the friendlies this summer. I think he's very good. I remember the Liverpool game, especially that second half. He actually had control on Mohamed Salah. So I don't know what happened to him. I think Harry Amass deserves a chance. I would love to see Harry Amass get some game time on this Man United team. So yeah. We have Rusty Shackleford coming in. Big up, Rusty. He say, time to see which youth player is ready for the step up. Yes, it's time to see what youth player is ready for the step up. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of them who are, in my eyes, ready to do this. Loudmouth Football comes in and say Arsenal's 2 academy stars this season have blown the league away. Tremendous stuff from Louis Gelly and Navaneri. Yeah, I agree. So it tells you about sometimes it's okay to try the youth players, and what are we talking about? Youth players. A lot of these players, they are 18, 19 years old. They're becoming men. So they should be ready. I think the development, playing under 18s, under 21s, they will never become the players they can if they get the chance. So it's about creating pathways into the first team. And we are Man United. This is our tradition. Our history is bringing young players in. So I think we should give them a chance. That's just my thoughts. The Routinator comes in and say 15 likes. Yes, 15 likes. People, you know what to do. Smash that like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can. Help out the channel. And Mick comes in and say, you're good enough. You are old enough. Yes, that's true. That's true. And if you're old enough, it doesn't mean that you're good enough. So it's all about competence. It's all about what you do when you are on the pitch and when you perform. So yeah, I agree. And Elite Ballers say, yeah, it's in our DNA. Yeah, 100%. It's in our DNA. And Mick comes in and say, finally, Amass. Yes, I hope Amass will get a chance. I don't know why he hasn't played. I don't know if any of you know anything about that, but maybe it's his attitude. Maybe he thought he had made it playing for friendlies in the summer and assumed that it will be easy going from now on. But it's not. It's not. By the way, I read an interesting story today about the Uruguayan star of Real Madrid. What's his name again? The midfielder. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But the story, basically, I'm paraphrasing now, was he came to Real Madrid. He played his first game for Real Madrid, Casilla. And he was so happy. He thought he made it. He thought he was the love child of Ronaldo and Messi. You know, he came to Real Madrid, and now his time was to shine. But he understood when he sat in that locker room that he was nobody. He was nothing compared to the rest of the guys. So he had to take a deep look at himself in the mirror and be humble. Be humble and play hard, train hard, do his best for years and years. And now he has become one of the most vital players for Real Madrid. So it's all about attitude, especially at a young age. He said himself, you know, he was dumb as fuck when he was 17, but he didn't realize it himself. So it's a learning process, and that's just how it is. We have, who else do we have? We have a lot of people tuning in now. So we have Stephanie. Stephanie, hello, Stephanie. She comes in and say, big up Jarvis and the Devilish Tacticos. Yes, it's the Devilish Tacticos. That's the name of the chat. And now we have members. You see, some of you have the green spanner. Rushmano was very generous in the last stream and gifted memberships to at least 10 of you guys. So feel free if you want to join the members club. There's 4 different stages. You have the regular, it's £199. You have the more advanced, it's £2.99, I believe. So it's £4.99, and £9.99 is for the maestros. And then if you join the maestro group, you can you will become a member of Stu and my WhatsApp group, and you can discuss tactics directly with the two of us. But you know, we are not that hard to reach, but I had to put something there. So yeah. And yes, who have we here? Scander Chromie, Scander Chromie. Big up Scander. Good to see you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, let me bring out the tactical board and we can have a look about what we can expect tomorrow. So yeah, we have, let me just remove this. So we went through this, but now we have Sekou Kone. I put him into the team. It could be, possibly Casemiro coming in here. I would suspect that will be the most likely outcome. When it comes to the 210s, we know that Amass is injured. So who would you put here? As I see it, it would be Xerxes. The other option is, as I see it, Eriksen. He could come in and do a role. I don't know who you guys would prefer. Is it Sekou Kone and Xerxes, or is it Eriksen and Casemiro? As I said, I want to invest into the future, not in the past. So for me, I would definitely go for Xerxes in the right 10 and Sekou Kone as the other one. So get your shout in in the chat, in the Devilish Tacticos. Let's see here. What do you guys say? Bad Time comes in and say no Ericsson. Yeah, but he's an option. I don't know who else do we have. So yeah. And Scanner Chromie comes in and say, I'm already subscribed. I'm from United Real Therapy. Yes, fantastic. Thank you. I'm so glad. We need all the subscribers we can get. We are reaching, the next goal is 1,000 subscribers to get fully monetized. Now we just partly monetized with super chats and memberships, but it will be more. So guys, if you haven't, it will be fantastic if you guys can subscribe to the channel. Let's see. Box is in the house. See you talking amongst yourself. And Jarle Malmin said he threw himself into the post books. Actually, I have no idea. Oh, yeah, I don't know what you guys talking about. So I don't know what you talking. What you expect? Who would you like to see? Koné or Casemiro? And who would you like to see in the 10? Would you like to see Xerxes play? For me, as I said, I would prefer this lineup. When it comes to the right back and left back, as we know, we have Dalot on the right, Dorgu on the left. Amorim could easily go like this and put Dorgu on the right and Dalot on the left. I don't know how Amorim thinks, but this is. I lean more on him doing this, Dalot on the left and Dorgu on the right, especially now with Ahmad out. I see Xerxes operating more centrally. If he starts, and Dorgu would be more like a out and out winger. So maybe that will be. And you know, when you're an out and out left-footed winger, we can expect him to cut inside and shoot like this. We saw the other game when he came in and played the first half. He had one chance. He came around and he was supposed to pass the ball over with his right foot, and it was a weak cross, I would say. So maybe that's a weakness of Dorgu, and you don't get it with playing him on the right. So I would prefer him to play on the left, but you never know when it comes to Amorim. So it's just the way it is. An elite baller comes in and say no more Dalot on the left. I'm begging you. Yes, I agree. But you never know when it comes to Amorim. Let me have a sip of my tactical devil's cup of tea. So how are you guys doing? It's Saturday night, but we are all here on YouTube. That's good to know. But I want to speculate a little bit more before we go back to the tactical board, because I want to talk to you about the reasons of this injury. I said one of the reasons could be the amount of games we have been playing lately. Another reason, and that's a positive take again, is could this be on Amorim's high intensity training? Because we saw some interviews, especially Lenny Yoro did a interview with Rio Ferdinand, and he talked about the demands from Amorim and how he demanded like absolute sacrifice. And now we have seen a full week of training with Amorim. We haven't played a game since Friday, and you know, with the high intensity training, maybe we are pushing the players into a new physical level. And we heard players moan about the some of the players, we don't know who, maybe just newspaper speculations, but we heard some of the players complaining about the system and they weren't happy. So maybe it's Amorim pushing the players harder than they want, because we know they are lazy ass players, a lot of them, this group of players. But we heard players say that Amorim demands absolute sacrifice. And after a full week of training, is this just an adaptation phase into this team? And if so, could this actually mean that the squad is catching on to Amorim's method, and we are on our way to raising our levels? And this is just a minor setback with a couple of injuries because of the level of the training. So that's my question to you guys. What do you think? Do you think maybe this injuries coming on is just because Amorim is pushing them really hard in training and the players actually catching on, and this is why we get some injuries? It's just like, it's casualties. It's what you get when you train 100% high level intensity, 100% sacrifice. Every duel, every inch means life or death. And if you train that way, you will play that way when you go into games. But Amorim hasn't had any chance training. You know, he said himself he only had like 4 to 5 trainings because we play a match every third day. But now we have had a full week and we have had injuries, a lot of injuries. So maybe this is a positive. Maybe this is the players catching on with the Amorim and his methods. So if you agree or not, let me know. Yeah, Bath Time comes in and say, do you remember when the players complained about training because they were afraid of the dark? Yeah, they're totally melters, a lot of these guys. It's oh, I don't know. And Rob Taff, big up Rob Taff, member number 10, comes in and say, Amorim has a full week with the players and they start breaking. Yes, but that could be a positive because maybe the players are understanding. And when you train your highest, the hardest, you will get injuries. You know, we are talking about match level training. You can't let yourself down when it comes to training. You have to perform every goddamn minute on the pitch. When you train like you play, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, it's a good point, Rob Taff. We have Bandulu coming in and say big up Bandulu, good to see you. I'm so surprised a lot of you guys tuning in. You know, it's super late, but yeah, I didn't plan this, so it will be a short show. But it's good to see all of you turning up, and you know we have a big game tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what we can do. We have a thin squad. We have offloaded a lot of players this January. Anthony's out. Rashford is out. A lot of these players are gone, especially when it comes to attacking positions. So we have to rely. And when you think of it, you know, this squad, could it be that, with the thinner squad after January, you know, Amorim, he's a professional coach. He's been doing this, you know, he's not a dumbass. And he must have anticipated the risk, you know. Does he believe in the academy so much, that he's willing to put his faith into these young guns? And that's what I think. I think Amorim took a calculated risk. He knew this while offloading Anthony, offloading Rashford. I think he thought for himself, yeah, I know I have a strong academy. We have Sekou Kone, we have Ayden Heaven, we have Obi-Martin, we have Harry Amass, we have Jack Fletcher, a lot of these guys. I don't even know the names of half of them. So many good players. I think Amorim is depending on them. I think he knows that they have a secret ace up his pocket, and that's the youth. He can slam on the reverse card and win the game because of that. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting thought. I talked to Stu Wally. He couldn't come on tonight because of 1 minute. Ja. Ja, men nå skal du sove. Bare legg den bort. It's my son. His iPad time was out, but I said no. You have to go to bed. Sorry for the interruption. Where was I? Yeah, Stu Wally. I talked to him. He couldn't come on, but he came in with some comments about my ideas for this show, and one of this was on the flip side. You know, a lot of these senior players, they can't be bothered to show up week in and week out, and maybe these injuries are convenient. Maybe they are tired. Maybe they don't want to sacrifice everything and come in and play. Maybe they have a niggle, but it doesn't mean you can't be available. You can't play 60 minutes. You can't be on the bench to play 10, 15 minutes. I'm not saying that Ahmad is faking his injury. No, by far. But we know this squad, they can't be relied upon. So I think that's a good point from Stu Wally. And he's not a big believer in all of these injuries. And as a player himself, he knows how it is to play through injuries. You're never injury free in season. You always feel it's in your ankles, it's in your legs, it's in your lower back. Your toes are totally swollen. You don't have any toenails left after half of the season, and everything hurts. And it takes you like 20 minutes just to get your shoes on, because it's and you have to warm up, and you can't even sprint in the first 30 minutes of the warm up. You just have to slowly stretch and jog slowly to get yourself into shape, and suddenly you feel that your body is loosening up, and then you're ready. And this is how football is. I mean, I've been playing the game myself for 40 years, and it was always like this. I played through so many injuries, but my passion for the game and how I wanted to be on the pitch, always playing. I didn't want to sit the game out. I didn't want to be on the bench. I didn't want to do anything else than playing football. That's my whole passion. So I think a lot of these players maybe can look themselves in the mirror and actually play more than they are doing. It's very convenient getting injured every time the tough gets going. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know what you guys say. Trevor Wade is in the house. Big up, Trevor. Is say maybe all these injuries will force Amorim to use the youth more, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Yes, exactly my point, Trevor Wade. That's why I'm doing this show. And he says we could easily stumble onto something with these younger guns. Yes, great point, Trevor Wade. Exactly what I'm trying to say. And he also comes in and say Stu could not come on. He has a mankini fitting. Yes, I don't know about that, but Saturday nights is holy ground when you're a family man, and it's just the way it is. That's why I'm coming on this late. I should have come on earlier, but didn't have the time. And Bad Time comes in and say, "Oh no. I just wait till we re-sign Pogba in March with this injury crisis. No way. I don't want Pogba back. I don't know any of you. If you want Pogba back, nah, not this guy. I'm done with him. I'm done with Pogba, his bad attitude, and his. I think he has influence on the dressing room, and it's not positive. I think he's not serious. He's not professional, and it's just my thoughts. I don't know for sure. I've never talked to Pogba. I've seen him live playing games, but never. So we all know the rumors, and all this Raiola stuff. Every time there was a international break, Raiola came out and put divisive tweets and talking points into the fan base. Were always toxic when it comes to Pogba. No way. I don't want Pogba back. No. We have Stu Wally coming in and say, "Hey, old friend, I just got home. Big up, Stu. Big up. Yeah, if you want to come on for 5 to 10 minutes, I'm just about to wrap up, but I can stay on for 10 more minutes. So yeah, it's good to see you, Stu. I want to go back to the tactical board to talk a little bit more about the game. So this is the team I see us playing. I don't know about the Licht. It could bench Dalot, play Masraoui, and start Maguire. This is one of the options. Maguire scored a goal, late winner, last game. I think Maguire has been good. Not superb, but I respect Maguire. But I would rather play Masraoui on the right than de Ligt, because I think Masraoui contributes much more when it comes to offensive play going forward. And for me, I think the main goal in football is to score goals, and defend goals, obviously. But we are Man United. We are here to go into attack. We heard it last game when we played. We heard Old Trafford say attack, 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 attack. We know how it is. And this is why we love Man United. Always attacking, always scoring goals, excite the crowds. And that's why I would love Masraoui to play over De Ligt. It's just my personal preference, but I hope you guys agree. So, yeah. And Trevor Wade comes in. Stu, how was the Mankini show? And Stu Wally comes in and say, it was too tight, pal. It needed adjusting. You guys going on about the Mankini, yeah. Bath Time comes in and say, with Pogba, I said, one last dab. How was it? Like this? No, I don't know. Pogba. Nah, I don't want Pogba back. Nah. Yeah. We have another option when it comes to the team. We have Lenny Yoro. I speak highly about Lenny Yoro, but we have this guy with the left foot, Ayden Heaven. Do you think he could be an option? We are pretty thin when it comes to 3 centre backs. We have 4 of them. Oh, okay, we have Lindelof, but I wouldn't trust Lindelof at all. He comes in the bracket with Casemiro and Eriksen. For me, I think they are their past. And I don't want to see any of them near this first team squad. I think we should just send a message. The message is clear. All of them should stay on the bench and fuck off in the summer. Sorry for my French, but that's what I mean. I'm done with the mediocrity of all of these players, and they're not good enough, and they are not the future. They're old. They're injury prone. They play when they want. They switch on and off, and I'm not having it, and that's why I would rather go with the youth. So it's just the way it is. Danny B comes in and he agreeing 100%. Thank you, Danny B, for the support. And Trevor Wade say Lindelof is another Dalot. He's useless. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think also Lindelof is useless. Who am I to sit here to slate these professional players? Yes, in their way they are good, but as Man United players, I don't feel that any of them are good enough at this time. Bad Time comes in and say Heaven's probably played against more a fair bit. I worry a bit around Porro's experience against him more. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because Moore, he's a young guy. They're both played. Heaven played for the Arsenal Academy, more for the Spurs Academy. They have probably played a lot of times against each other. So yeah, that could be a good point. And Heaven should be able to play up against Moore. When it comes to Pedro Porro, yeah, he's good. But for me, I think when it comes to Porro, it's about being able to block those crosses, not be passive. But when you're young, I think you're fearless. And I hope that Heaven could be that guy who throws himself in front of the crosses, blocks them, stops them, not giving Porro the room he needs to cross. And it's all about not letting Spurs creating those overloads, because we know Kulusevski, he loves to wander off and be in those wide areas, the channels, and be available. So let's say if they can put up triangles like this, it's about not getting overloaded with the 3 against 2. It's about the central midfielder coming in, doing a job, pushing over to one side, creating that back 4, giving leave room for the defenders to go out and defend the wide areas. And I think they are prepared for this, because we all know Kulusevski is one of those. I don't know who will play on the left and who will play centrally. Son will probably be here. Tel will probably be on the left attacking. He's an inside wide player, so he could be in this area. So it's up to us to defend as a team. And yeah, I agree. It's a good point, Bad Time. Heaven should be familiar with Moore and have control on him. But as I said, it's the Kulusevski Poro that gives me a little bit of worries. Let's see what you guys are saying. You say Jordan Ball, my Swedish friend, comes in. Big up Jordan. Yeah. I wasn't you? Aren't you named after Michael Jordan? Chicago Bulls. Big up Jordan Wall. He comes in and say, watch out for Bergvall and Kulusevski. Yeah. I don't know if Bergvall is available. I don't know if you heard anything from Spurs. Let's have a look. Let's see if there's any updates on the injury situation. Add this to the stage. Bergvall. So this is the predicted lineup. Yeah, Bissouma, Bentancur. Oh, Bergvall in the 10. Okay, so it's not more. All right. So they will put Bergvall. Okay, so then we have to go back here and change. Bergvall, Swedish guy. Yeah, Kulusevski. A lot of Swedes in this Spurs team. It's Sweden against Denmark. We have a lot of Danish players. We have Obi-Martin. We have Dorgu. We have Eriksson, Højlund. We have 4 Danish players in this team, and they have at least 2 Swedish players. So yeah, that will be interesting to see. So you think Bergvall will be in the 10? Yes. So it will be something like this then. And Son centrally and Tel on the left. Bentancur and Bissouma. Probably more like this. Yes. 4-3-3, I believe. Yeah. Let's see. Elite Baller comes in and say Jarvis. And yeah, sure. I can send you the link. If you want to come on and jump on, we can stay on for 10 more minutes. Let me see. Elite Baller, send me a message on Twitter so I don't have to. I can't find you in the message section. Now I'll send you the link. And Trevor Wade comes in and say, you are quite entitled to have a go at the players' job as it comes with the territory. If they were doing their job, you wouldn't be laughing at them. You would be lauding, not slating them. Yes, it's true. And we as fans, yes, we are entitled, but I don't like to push it too far. I think a lot of these players get abuse and hate because of we as fans. We take it too far, and it's not about this. I respect them as humans, but as players, it's always when I'm negative, it's about their performance. I try to keep it to the performance. And yeah, who am I? I don't know everything when it comes to football, so it's just the way it is. Bad Time comes in and say that's a young section there with the Koné and Heaven. I think Spurs would enjoy working in that area. Yeah, they most likely would, but sometimes you gotta throw them on the deep end, and it's either sink or swim. And a lot of these young guys, when they come in, they don't even think. They don't have time to get nervous. I heard a lot of coaches, especially back in the days, it was about not when you had a young player and you wanted to play him. Some of them you couldn't even tell them before the game. You put them in the traveling squad. You didn't give them any hopes for playing, and you waited right before kickoff. Boom, you're starting, so they don't have time to get nervous. Don't have any expectations, and then some of them just go out on the pitch and do their job. That's the thing, not getting too tense. So yeah, I maybe this is Amorim's weapon, because I think he knew about all of these injuries he must have known a lot of the long time. I heard this. We talked about the Ahmad rumors. Stu mentioned them on the last show, and that was Thursday night. So Amorim has been prepared. He know he will be probably forced to play some of these young players. So maybe just keeping his card tight to his chest and not giving anything away. And just before game time, boom, he starts them. So it could be the way to go, but it depends. I don't know. I don't know the mentality of these players, how they do. Oh, let's see. I got a message from Elite Baller. Give me 2 seconds, and I will send you the link. Where did that pop up come? What? Where is? Yeah, there you are, Elite Baller. Okay, I sent you the link now, so jump on whenever you can. Yeah, Trevor Wade comes in and say, yeah, it's a Scandinavian battle. Yes, but suddenly, unfortunately, there's no Norwegians in this team anymore. We have a long history of Norwegian players in Man United: Henningberg, Ronny Johnson, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, Erik Nevland. We have had a lot of academy Norwegians. We have had Mats Møller-Dæhlie, Josh King was in the academy. So yeah, there's a long history of Norwegians playing in this team. And Jordan Wall comes in and say we have to sign Jokenes. Yeah, another Swedish guy. Could be. Big up, Elite Baller. Big up. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, Jarvis. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing a late night stream, as you see, talking about the youngsters. So
yeah.
What's your thoughts on the current latest events that came out now with the 3 injuries of Ahmad, Ugarte, and Collier, and a lot of these youngsters being in the traveling squad? Do you think there's any hope for them?
Yes, I do. And to be honest with you, it's things like this that that can change a whole season. So, for example, let's say he is brave, Amorim is brave, and he does put a couple of youngsters on. For all we know, they could actually do really well, and they could inspire the team and set the pace for the season and give us that energy that we need. Because, I'm sure like me, when you saw our last game, the first half was probably what you'd want to watch if you want to fall asleep in bed. It was awful. And I'm thinking that we get some fearless youngsters playing. I think everything changes because they're not going to be scared to dribble. They're not going to be scared to shoot. They're going to give it their all. They've got a lot to play for. Unlike a lot of our players who are on too much money, they've got no competition. Like, for example, Dalot, he's got no competition. He knows that it doesn't matter how he plays, he's always going to be in that starting lineup. Same with Bruno. So I actually look at this as a positive, and I'm actually excited about it now. It's given me more reason to actually watch the game. I don't know about you, Jarvis.
Yes, I agree. The first thing that struck my mind when this news came out, was all the not again. None of us wants Ahmad to be injured, especially Ahmad. And when after the news struck, I had a couple of minutes just to calm down, and actually my second thought was, yeah, this is an opportunity. Now we can do something. We can do something positive with this. We can give the youngsters a chance. Maybe it will speed up the process, because I hope Amorim is brave enough to start a lot of these youngsters and not go with the easy solution and play Lindelof, play Eriksen, play Casemiro. So yeah, I agree with your point.
Who do you think he will actually start any youngsters, or do you just think that they may come on in the second half? Like, I think it would be brilliant if he actually was brave enough to put a couple of them in the starting lineup and see what they can do. They don't have to play the whole game, but they, like I said, they might give us a lift. I mean, I would definitely put Obi somewhere in the attacking lineup because he's scoring so many goals. He's got to have so much confidence right now. And if you compare that to our strikers who have got very little confidence, I mean, Højlund, I can't even remember the last time he scored. But yeah, obviously he's playing every game, starting every game. And a lot of people have said in the last few weeks, oh, Obi and whoever can't play, they're not physical enough. Well, Garnacho is hardly a colossus. Yeah, he gets knocked off the ball very, very easily every single game. So if Garnacho is trusted to play, then I don't see why Obi, he's 6'2", Garnacho is 5'11", and I'm pretty sure that Obi weighs more than him. So he's actually probably a lot stronger than Garnacho. So I don't think we should be protecting these players anymore. You know, if they're good enough, if they're good enough, it doesn't matter about the age. You know, we've seen Rooney score his Premier League goal at the age of 16. We've seen Rashford make his debut in the Champions League, blah, blah, blah. Our football club is full of youngsters coming through and making an impression. So I'm here for it, mate.
I think you make some brilliant points, and big up Bad Time and Box for watching the show that late. I know a lot of you have to call it a night. We have MF Zeno coming in and say Amorim needs to win for his own sake. I'm doubtful you'll see all these kids starting. Yes, and that's the point you brought up, Elite Baller. You know, will they start? I don't know. But if it was me, I would be brave enough. You know, I would start them. But you know, I'm not Amorim. You know, the pressure he's under. A lot of people expect him to win, and they're not happy with the state of the club. We are sitting 14th at the time in the Premier League. We have done fairly well. We have won. I think we have lost 2 out of the last 8. So it's not too bad when you look at it like isolated result wise, but the performance is not good enough, and we see we are struggling a lot of the time. In a lot of these games we have been winning. We you know, Amass scored a hat-trick against Southampton, but we struggled. We was lucky in the win against Fulham. We scored a late winner now in the cup game. So yes, we are not shining, but the results are there. So Amorim, he has a way. And I feel that when Amorim set up his team, he usually set up his team to be balanced and stable, at least for the first 60 minutes. And then he changed things up at the end just to give it a go, give it a chance. So do you think maybe we'll do the same when it comes to this game and save his best players, like impact players for the last 30 minutes and try to win the game?
I hope not. Because that's exactly what happened in the last game, wasn't it? And let's be honest, we were lucky that we got away with a win versus Leicester because the goal was offside. So if it had been a league game, that would have been ruled out and it would have been a draw, right? But yeah, I would rather we were brave. Just, you know, come on. We've watched United go to White Hart Lane under Sir Alex, and we would blitz them. You know, we would try and go for the kill straight away. I would rather do that and then make subs to make it more defensive and shore up a bit. But I just want him to be brave. I keep saying the word brave because I just don't think he is brave at the moment. It's like he's too scared to lose. He would rather not lose than try to win. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just concerns me because I think Man United as a club, they're always have been better when they're attacking. Always. You know, we don't necessarily want to be a possession team. I mean, I'd like us to be good with the ball, but I want us to attack, and I just don't feel like we attack enough under this manager. And I know he's not been here long, so I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. But I mean, would you agree with me, Jarvis, that before you see the lineup, you think, right, this is what I think he should do, and then when you see the lineup, you're like, oh, okay, I don't know why he's done that. Is that what's happening with you as well?
Yeah, I feel it's hard to predict. You know, I tried so many times. We put out in the preview show our predicted lineups, and we are really far away every time. You know, so. And I actually try to think as Amorim and try to do what Amorim is doing, you know, by his style and what he did at Sporting and on the latest results. But you know, it's hard to say. You know, how I would love someone to tell me what Amorim wants from his fullbacks, for example, because last game you saw he had one left footer on the right and one right footer on the left. Why? Because he didn't do that at Sporting, but suddenly he starts with two inverted fullbacks in a way. I don't fully get it. Do you?
No, I don't get it, and that's one of the reasons why in the first half we were so abysmal, because if we look at Dalot, who's playing on the left, he's not left-footed, okay? So he can't use his left foot to dribble past the player. He can only use his right to cut inside. By the time he's cut inside and tried to cross it, it gets blocked. So he either gets his crosses blocked or he just passes it backwards. So a lot of the time what was happening is, the ball was going backwards and then the crowd's getting restless and then it just causes anxiety. And it's just really unhealthy situation on the field. So Amorim could actually do something about that by putting Dalot on the right and Dorgu on the left and just see what happens. He may be even surprised by how much better we play just with a simple change like that. But when he did that, I was absolutely mystified. And the game before that was when he chose to play with no strikers. Again, that mystified me. And it's just every single match lineup, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing here. I just don't get it. Just do the right thing and just see what happens. It's confusing to me, bro.
Yeah. But you see, I have the tactical board up here, and last show I explained a little bit why he should use why maybe his thinking was playing Dalot on the left, because we could clearly see last game Garnacho's movement. He dropped down in this area a lot of the time, and they had an opposite movement with Dalot doing the same. So the switch of positions made the opposition very unsecure where to go, and it ended up often with who was their left back again, the right back again, I don't remember, going high up the pitch to press Garnacho. And Garnacho had discipline to stay in this space for a long time. And when the time was right, he sprinted in behind, in the area, the back left behind him. So maybe this is the thinking, because Dalot actually, when he had a brilliant pass through the lines, created a big chance. Maybe it was even the goal, the first goal. He passed the ball through the lines to Garnacho, who he crossed it to Højlund, who scored. No, to Xerxes, who scored. So Dalot actually was involved in the goal and had a key pass. So maybe he sees more positives than we as fans do. And do you think all the stick that Dalot gets is fair? Because I think now he's the new, I don't know, because we always have our players that we as fan hate on, or if you want to call it that. It's a strong word, I know, but Maguire's have been the whipping boy, and the same with who else? Now Højlund has been it for a while. Maybe Dalot is taking the marathon stick and to take it forward. So do you think it's fair on Dalot?
I think I'm personally fair with all the players. So, for example, one thing that Dalot did well recently is he got on the end of a cross and scored a goal. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, that's what you need to be doing. But then on the other hand, you should be doing that more often. The Wingbacks, if they don't have the ball, they should be anticipating a cross coming in and tapping it in like he did. So that's what they need to do more. With Dalot, if he plays well, I'll say it. But if he isn't, then I'm going to have to say it, because at the end of the day, I can't stand it when players play every single game regardless of form. I think that's one of the worst things you can do at Man United. Sir Alex wouldn't do that, If he had strikers that were scoring game after game, he'd keep them in the team. If he had a midfielder who started playing badly 2 games in a row, he'd probably take him out, give him a break, and see what someone else can do. So I'm all about you have to earn your place. But I've got a question for you, Jarvis, right?
Sure.
The 2 centre midfielders. Now, most of the Premier League teams play with 3 midfielders, don't they? Really? Yeah, most of them. So I think the fact that he's playing with just 2 central midfielders is leaving us very vulnerable. And it doesn't really matter who you put in there. Like, you can put Ugarte in there and Bruno. You can put, I don't know, Mainu and Ugarte. It doesn't really matter who you put in those two positions. They're always going to look vulnerable because they're going to get overrun by the three midfielders in the opposition team. So if it were you, would you find a way to maybe change that slightly so we don't look so easy to go run through midfield against?
Well, I think we look better than we did on the Ten Hag, because on the Ten Hag, we all remember the big gap because one of those two always pushed really high up. So we were exposed. Our rest defense, as people popularly like to call it, was basically 3 to maybe maximum 4 players. And we were really exposed. So with Amorim might see us more in balance. As you know, we have the 3-2, the M formation in defense. So our rest defense is actually not too bad. But I think the solution for Amorim, I think he wants to involve the center backs more to be involved in this. As we know, when we attack, one of them pushes up, one of them pushes up, one of them pushes up. So we almost go into a 4-2-2 formation, or what do you want to call it, and even higher up. So it's a 3-2-4 formation sometimes. Depends how we want to go. So again, we have just the rest defense of 4 players holding the balance. So I think he relies heavily on the centre backs involving themselves into this midfield. And also we know when he plays Bruno in the 10, Bruno is always operating in this area like an extra midfielder. Even though I'm not saying Bruno, I know you're not Bruno's biggest fan when it comes to his defensive work, at least. So I don't know what's the solution. What do you suggest Amorim should do?
All I know is that when Rude was here, okay, he played Casemiro and Ugarte in the midfield, and I remember all those games very vividly. I remember we had control of the midfield. The two of them together were just the perfect partnership, because you had Ugarte, who is an out-and-out defensive midfielder. He's not interested in attacking, so you can rely on him to be there to break up play. And then you got Casemiro, who obviously is by nature a defensive midfielder, but he can also attack. He can also shoot. He can pass. He can cross it. So that actually gave him license to attack. And if you remember, under Rude, Casemiro scored that brace against Leicester. So to me, I really, really liked that midfield, and I was kind of like annoyed that Amorim destroyed that when he came in. So that's what I like. I personally like 2 players in that role there who know how to defend, but maybe one's got attack in his locker as well. I like Collier. Yeah, I've got no problem with Collier. I think he's a decent player. And the fact that obviously he is a free academy player, we need to make the most of these players, because they're the ones who are going to help us get out this financial mess that the Glazers put in. So yeah, that's what I like, but I know that he's not going to do it. So it's always going to be probably Ugarte and Bruno, or Ugarte and Mainu, and I just feel a bit nervous with those two. And I do take on board what you said about the defense coming forward, etc. But yeah, I don't know. When I first saw Amorim, I thought we're going to have a lot of possession. We were going to sort of outpass the other team, dominate, and it hasn't quite happened like that yet. And again, he's not been here long, so I'm not going to say Amorim out, but I'm just saying I have to raise concerns when I see them.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a fair point, and I agree. It hasn't been all that. We have talked about it, and everybody had high expectations for Amorim coming in, but he hasn't delivered yet. We have seen glimpses, bits and pieces of plays where we are actually doing the thing that we say we expect from Amorim. Stu and I have been sitting here playing clip after clip, and I've been watching out for. Oh, look at this! This is what Amorim really wants to do, So maybe I'm clutching at straws, just trying to find the positives. But I think it's on the quality of this team. I don't think they can do it. We have too many deficient players who can't do what Amorim expect from them. And Dalot, yes, is obviously one of them. Trevor Wade comes in and say, yeah, Dalot on the left, Dalot on the right, makes no difference. He's at fault constantly, and his positional play is atrocious. And his key pass is one of a few hundreds in matches, few and far between. So yeah, I think a lot of, and I think that's a good commentary way. I think you are hitting the nail right on the head. But when it comes to Bruno, how do you see this? Because I'm not a big fan of playing Bruno in the number 8. I think he's a liability when it comes to defensive work, and he thinks like an attacker when he tries to win the ball. You know, he doesn't think as a defender, because first rule of defending is delay. It's about delay. Every time you press, it's about delay. You have to delay the attack of the opposition so the other guys get the time to come in position, and you come into a set shape. But Bruno, he doesn't understand this principle. You know, I learned this when I was a kid playing football. It's about defending. It's about delaying the attacker. Bruno, he always goes for the ball. He tries to win the ball, intercept it, and hit them on the break. So this is one of my biggest problems with Bruno playing in the 8. Do you see this issue with Bruno?
With me, it always comes down to the fact that I think that Bruno's a luxury player. I think he's a player that plays every game when you've got a team that has been successful for years and years. I think too many games he's a passenger. I'm fair with this. So when we played against Liverpool, when we played against Arsenal, he was really, really good. There was a passage of play, I think it was against Arsenal, where he actually literally dribbled it past the player, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that. So like I said, when he plays well, I'll say it. But really, apart from that, the last few games he's been really poor. One thing that concerns me, especially in that 2 centre midfield, mate, is that I feel that he hides from the ball too much. So let's say Ugarte gets the ball and he wants to play it to someone straight away, because he's not there to bring the ball forward necessarily. I feel like Bruno doesn't make himself available enough. And I can trace that all the way back to that game that we lost versus Liverpool at home, where, again, he's just hiding from the ball, and I just don't think that's acceptable for a captain. So for me, it isn't really where he plays, it's just more his personality and character. Okay. I would actually, if he had to play, I would just play him as a support striker, so he doesn't have to worry about defending. Literally, all he has to do is worry about attacking. If you are going to play him, that's what I do with him, because I don't really see him having any influence, sort of, apart from attacking wise, like you said earlier.
Well, I see a lot of pundits and YouTubers and Twitter experts say that Bruno is best as a false 9, and maybe he is, but in an Amorim system, I can't see it working, because when it comes to the striker, it's about movement. When it comes to the movement of the striker, I've talked about this before, but as a striker, it's about diagonal runs and especially attacking these zones. It's 2 zones, the corner flag zones. It's 16 and 18. That's zone 16 and 18 there. I don't know if you're familiar with all the zones. And we always talk about zone 14. That's the zone in front of the 18-yard line box. So these are the main 3 areas that we want to attack, and the striker's role is a lot of the time, because it's about being the out. They play a long ball, just hoof it up to this area, and the striker runs, and then we fill on with a lot of people and make it difficult. So we don't have to be dilly-dallying, passing it through for possession's sake, as Manchester City and all of these teams do, Barcelona, and it's more about direct play, and I can't see Bruno doing this part, as I said, as a striker. It's because Amorim relies on the striker who can do these runs, and also we see even Højlund can't do it. He do it occasionally, but he's not even near his positional sense and understanding of the game isn't close to this. So that's why I don't see Bruno as a number 9, even though he could be a false, and we could probably have one runner in the 10s who can do this run, and Bruno dropping down. So it could be a possibility, but basically we'll say that Bruno is playing as a 10. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I got a question for you. So, not long ago, Amorim came out with a quote saying that, you know, he's got good strikers at the club, but the problem is they don't get service. Now, while he is correct about that, and we've all been saying that for probably, I don't know, 2 years, the fact that Garnacho, Dalot, Dorgu, and Ahmad are all crossing with their weaker foot is not going to help that. It's not going to help that. When we were scoring goals from crosses back in the day, it's because we had Beckham, who was right-footed on the right, and we had Giggs, who was left-footed on the left. So,
and Ole,
if you want,
Ole was a fantastic crosser, because when we saw Beckham, Ole adapted as the right winger, and he had magnificent crosses. I must say, I don't know if you remember.
Because strikers know what crosses they would like, so therefore they know what kind of cross to give a striker. But do you see what I mean? I've just named 4 players there who Amorim is setting up so they're on their weaker side, and therefore they have to cross with their weaker foot. Now, eventually Garnacho is going to get an assist with his left foot because he is crossing it maybe 5-6 times. But imagine how many more would be successful if he's crossing with his stronger foot. Do you remember when Garnacho was playing on the right? He looked pretty good there.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So I don't get it.
Yeah. I would say at least one of the 2 wide players, because I would say the number 10 could be a wide player, and the wingback could be a wide player. One of those need to be able to cross with their best foot.
Yeah.
So if you're on the left, you need one left footer. So that's why I struggle a little bit with this team selection in the last game when he played the Dorgu and Dalot opposite. So and when we did the preview, I talked about this before the FA Cup game, that it was actually quite good. You know, we need Ahmad and Garnacho going wide, and one of the fullbacks going inside, or the opposite. So you make a good point, and it's interesting. But as a professional footballer, when you play at the highest level, you should be 2-footed. If you play for Man United, you shouldn't be worried about what side you play on. But I see a lot of these players are not good enough. That's why I talk about the competence and about the levels. And you see when we talk about Dalot, for example, he has a good cross with his left foot, but it's not natural. You see struggles when they do that, and they need just to work harder. You know, one of my my biggest favorites in the Premier League was Morten Gamst Pedersen. I don't know if you remember him. He played for Blackburn. Yeah, and he was brilliant with his left foot, and he was actually a right footer when he was younger. You know, he's from the north of Norway, where I'm from, and you know, he was a right footer, but he forced himself at a young age. Like when he was 10 years old, his trainer, his coach told him, you have to play with your weak foot all the time. And suddenly his weakest foot, his left foot, was his best foot.
Yeah.
And that's how you become a good footballer. And, you know, my God, he was always good when we played against Man United. He always used to score against us and playing good games. So, you know, that's the bare minimum, as I say. If you are a Man United player and you earn millions of millions every year, you should be able to play with your weaker foot. Yet again,
I agree.
Are lazy players, not taking charge of their own development and becoming better footballers. So yeah, it's one of the problems. I think they are super happy becoming a United player, and they think they made it, and they stop reaching for the next level.
Yeah, because they've got, what you got to think about is they've got agents, they've got PR companies working with them who every day telling them how good they are. They look at their salary, they look how much money they make, they look at the contract they get from Nike. They think that they're the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they would be like that. You know, people are just human at the end of the day. But another question for you. So with Rashford and Anthony, they're both on loans that aren't obligations to buy. So personally for you, here's the first question. What would you want them to come back afterwards? And then another question for you is, are you disappointed, because I am, that Amorim couldn't find a way to get through to Rashford and actually get him to train or perform how he wants? Because that's what I wanted from Amorim. I thought when INEOS brought him in, I thought he could be a good man manager. I don't want him to be a checkbook manager like Pep Guardiola. I want him to be a man manager who knows how to get through to these players and get 10, 20, 30% more out of them. That's what I wanted from Amorim, you know?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. And yeah, sure, you can expect Amorim to perform miracles. But I think Amorim is smart enough to understand that some players are you can't save them. You can't save them all, and sometimes you just gotta let them go. And it's not about just Amorim and the time he had with Rashford. I think it was the same with all the other managers. I think Ten Hag, one of the main reasons Ten Hag lost his job was he put too much time and effort into Rashford, and Rashford wasn't bothered. So I think it was a wise move, trying to get rid of Rashford straight away. Okay, he gave him a couple of chances, couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, but then he wasn't bothered anymore. He said, "Okay, I understand. You're not interested. Move on." And I think that was a tough and fair and good decision by Amorim. But what was your first part of the question again?
It was just about, in terms of Anthony and Rashford specifically, because their loans aren't obligation to buy, there's every chance that they come back. So would you want them to come back, or would you want them to get sold on, both of them?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying. I want them both to be sold. I think it's they are not the type of players we need in this squad. When you see the guys we are linked with, wingbacks, midfielders, attackers, I can't see any of them have a future at Old Trafford, even if they have fantastic spells. And I hope that Rashford, he had an assist today for Watkins in that goal, and I hope that Rashford finds himself and can recover his career and be a footballer again, but not at Man United. I think as many goals and assists they can get is good for us, and hopefully we will have more money, because that's, as you mentioned, we are in financial despair. And talking about financial despair, I think we are as a fan base now really starting to realize what's the state of our club financially, and we see Mark Aldridge on United Stand. Other big channels now the knives are out. The protest, we saw the video from the 1958 Arsenal game. Is it 9th of March, 10th of March? There will be a new protest, and I think a lot of the fan base are fed up. They're fed up with this, and now it's time to really take action, because in my intro you see Glazers out on my wall. You see Glazers out, green and gold, where I am, because I hate the Glazers with my life, and I really hope the fan base get their eyes up and understand the reasons why we are in the state we are. We have been sitting here for years complaining. Mourinho out, Ole out, PA teacher useless, everything. Rashford out, Pogba out, Ten Hag out. Suddenly you even hear people say Amorim out. But what are we doing? It's not about this. It's about the Glazers. They are destroying us. They are destroying us, and they have destroyed us as a club. So what's your thought on the latest? Do you support the protests? Do you agree, or is it another way?
I'm a realist. Okay, I'm a realist. So people may feel I need to do this so that I'm showing my objection to what's going on, and you're more than, as long as you don't break the law, as long as you don't put people's lives in danger, I'm happy for you to do that. The moment
Yeah.
you start breaking the law, the moment you start causing vandalism, putting people's lives in danger, then I'm not part of that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I have a very big difference between the Glazers and INEOS, okay? So the Glazers, everyone hates them, everybody wants them out. But the thing is, like every other rich people in any company, they will only go when they want to go. And I don't know when that will be, and I don't know how it will come. But they don't care what other people think. They can go online and see death threats to them every day. They will not care because they're billionaires. It's as simple as that. But what I get pissed off about is the people who say that INEOS is the same as Glazers, where what INEOS are doing is the complete opposite of what Glazers have done to get us into this position. Okay, so for example, the Glazers spent 80 million on Maguire. The Glazers spent 80 million on Anthony. The Glazers spent 80 on Maguire, Sancho, whatever. Yeah. Now the difference is that we're now under INEOS and we're trying to buy players that are better value. And you've seen people like Mazraoui come in, and no one can tell me that isn't a good deal. He cost under 20 mil. He's experienced. He can play left back, wing back, centre back. He could play in midfield. We bought Koné. We've got Heaven from Arsenal Academy. The Glazers wouldn't do that, okay? They would not care about the future of the club. All they want to do is buy an expensive player, like a Paul Pogba, so they can sell the shirts and make more money. So I have to insist that there is a difference between the approach of INEOS under Barada and Wilcox and what we had before with Glazers. I have to say that because it makes me mad when people say they're the same. They're not the same. You can talk about Jim Ratcliffe if you want, but I'm talking about the football structure and the decisions that they've made and the transfers that they completely changed the policy for. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you make a great point, and I think it's a distinction between the Glazers and INEOS. But the thing is, I think a lot of people understand that the INEOS bailed out the Glazers at a time where they were at their weakest, and it could have ended them in this time. We could have been Qatari owned at the moment, and I think a lot of people are angry because INEOS and Jim Ratcliffe came in as the saviors of the Glazers and let this madness continue. So that's why they're putting them in the same bracket. But I get your distinction between the Glazers and INEOS, and I think it's an important difference. I think it's very important that I think the intentions now that INEOS are inside the club are better than. I'm not saying they have good intentions, but I think they are better intentions than the Glazers had. It's not all about the money. I think they're trying to fix the financial part, and they are trying to fix the footballing team at the same time. And I think also they realize it will take time, so they have to take it step by step, and they can't fix everything by once because they're not willing to put in money because they are a minority owner and they don't want to put more money into the Glazers' pockets. So this is where we stand. There's a standoff now. So that's just how I see it. But I understand why people are angry at INEOS also, and I think you also see that point.
So I'll give you an example, okay? So obviously today we hear about all the injuries, right? And then what do we hear? We go, oh, INEOS, you should have brought people in January. You should have brought people in January. Blah, blah, blah. Newcastle are the richest club in the world. They bought no one. Arsenal lost Saka and Jesus. They bought no one. They are not in the debt that we are in, but they bought no one. Why is that? Because in January it's not easy to get good players. We know this from decades and decades of being United supporters. Getting decent players in January is the exception to the rule. It's not the normality. Okay, so we need to understand that. And if you really want to go deep into it, there's a quote that Amorim said a few weeks ago. It's my decision to get rid of Rashford and Ante in Malaysia. My decision, regardless of whether we got transfers in, I'm here to tell you it was my decision. So if you want to have a go at someone for not bringing more people in January and letting go of people, blame Amorim because that was his choice. It's his choice. Okay, so this is what gets on my nerves as well, because we're always trying to blame people. Why can't we just see that it's going to take a long time to get out of the mess that this club is in, and just be patient? And that goes for the manager, it goes for INEOS, and it goes for the players. Let's be bloody united. Let's stop being negative. And let's be honest, Jarvis, a lot of people are using this negativity to get money for their channels. And that is horrific. That's horrific, you know?
It's true. They are on the bandwagon and they're milking the cows as it goes along. And yeah, a lot of channels want to create, because they feed on emotions. That's why, you know, and I think that time has passed. I think YouTube algorithms have changed. I think people want more substance. I think people want to see more. They want to learn. They want to be involved. I think the time of huge corporation channels are gone. I think it's time for the small YouTubers to shine. And you know, we have had a massive start on this channel. I'm so blessed. So many people tuning in every time we go on live, and you know, it's I think it's good. But my voice will always be Glazers out. But I'm on the fence when it comes to INEOS, because I don't like them because they bailed out the Glazers. But I'm willing to give them a time and chance to prove themselves. But I'm skeptical. I'm a INEOS skeptic.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But if we go back to what you said about the Qatari bid, where is he now? Why didn't he pay enough money to get the club? Why did he tell us he was going to get Mbappe when everyone knew he was going to Real Madrid? Why are you lying to us to make out like you're something that you're not? Why didn't you pay enough money? Why did you then say that you were going to take legal action against Man United, and here we are a year later and you still haven't done it? If you really want the club and you're so rich, put the fucking money up. I'm sorry about the language, but it pisses me off.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's late night. There's no kids watching us.
Honestly, everyone just goes back to Qatar. If Qatar wanted to buy United, they would buy United. They have oil money coming out of their ass. I'm sorry, I don't believe their bid was real. They never proved the funds, the sources of their funds numerous times. And like I said, when someone tells me they're going to get me Mbappe, when I know he's going to Real Madrid and it's been agreed for a year, I don't believe anything that this guy says, man. You know?
Big up, Jules. Good to see you. Big up. Yes. And Trevor comes in and says, I'm a kid, Jarvis. Can Elite retract the blasphemy? No. Funny. No, I get your passion, Elite Bowler, and you know, I agree at so many levels. But when it comes to this, I don't think the truth is out there. I think there's both sides feeding the media their narrative, and I don't know what to believe anymore. But when you think of it, maybe the Glazers weren't willing to sell the club in the first place. Maybe because we knew they were looking for a handout just to stay in the club, because the asset of Man United is worth even more than 10 billion. If you can turn things around, you have the Super League in 2030 something. Maybe the club is worth 15 billion, you know, and the Glazers know this. They are not dumbasses when it comes to financial stuff. They have been bleeding us dry for so many years. So I don't know. Maybe they just used Qatari as a decoy just to get the handout they needed. So pure speculation from my side. I don't know anything when it comes to this.
But you're nearer the truth now. You're nearer the truth now. This is the thing, Jarvis. Now you're nearer the truth, because you said maybe Glazers were never going to sell. And I said to you about 5 minutes ago, these rich people do what they want. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter. You know, you can send people death threats. You can say Glazers out for 10 years. They do not care. They will sell when they want to sell. So you're nearer the truth now. Now, I would rather have a football structure like we have now, where they change the transfer policy completely, then go back to what the Glazers gave us, which is Richard Arnold and Murto spending 240 million on 3 bloody players.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Josef comes in and say Glazer will never sell, and that's my biggest fear. Being an old man dying on my deathbed and still knowing that Glazers run the club. It's you know, even I'm 48. I'm an old man. Who knows? Maybe I have 30 good years left, and the Glazers will still be here. And not to Joel and Avram, but their kids again. The nepotism is hard in this Glazer family, and another couple of incompetent owners will come in. So in a way, I'm glad INEOS are here, but another way, this was our chance to maybe they were almost going under, and we read the latest reports on the financial stuff that they were desperate in need of getting a handout, and Jim gave them the lifeline they needed to stay on. So we will see. I want to go over to another topic, and Trevor Wade comes in 48 Jarvis and still looking like a catwalk model. Yeah, thank you. I'm not. I'm getting older and I have a lot of hair gel, but when I take the hair gel out, it's a lot of white. It's a lot of white in here. It's not good.
It's Silver Fox.
Yeah. It's just the way I'm getting older. That's just the way it is. I'm not stressing. I saw a comment here from Yusuf a little bit higher up. I just want to go back because this is a good question. We stopped scoring goal when Bruno was moved down.
Yeah.
So I can't find it, but you all read it. So my question is, do you think that's a fact, or is Bruno the creator and we lose out when Bruno is playing further down on the pitch?
I think it's more to do with who we played when we scored goals. So, for example, when we scored 4 goals, it was against Everton, and Everton were in turmoil. We scored 3 or 4 goals against Southampton, again relegation fodder. Yeah. So I think it's more the teams that we're playing. At the end of the day, he may have a point, but the thing that concerns me the most is when Bournemouth come and they play us off the park. Yeah, Newcastle come to us and they play us off the park. That is one thing that is just not acceptable. And if you remember, it was those kind of results that got Ole sacked and other people sacked. So I think that's what we need to worry about. We shouldn't be getting beaten 3-4-0 at home by Bournemouth or Newcastle. It's just not acceptable,
Yeah, that's the thing. And but I think we have improved since those games, and I think we are starting to look more and more as an Amorim team. When it comes to our structure, I think our structure is better. I think that the players are starting to understand the interchanging, and attacking the wide areas, doing more diagonal runs, and yeah. But we have Bayinder injured. One question before we end the stream. It's on Onana. I don't know your thoughts on Onana. I think he's been okay the last couple of games, but I don't trust him as a goalkeeper. What do you think we should do when we come to the summer and Onana?
I think what INEOS will do is they will at least get one keeper, and they will make that keeper compete with the first for the goalkeeper spot with whoever is left. So whether that's Bayinder, whether that's Onana. I mean, they may think it's better to sell Onana because you might get a bit more money from him, But I think Bayinder and Onana, the difference isn't that big. Whereas in the past, there was a big difference between our first goalkeeper and the second, like there's a big difference between Schmeichel and Van der Hau, I think his name was. I can't remember now. But yeah, there's not enough difference between our starting goalkeeper and our so-called second goalkeeper. So I do believe that they will look at goalkeepers, and I think they even mentioned that a few weeks ago, looking at someone. So yeah, I'm not enthralled by either of them. But I'm not going to make out like they're the main problem right now, because I don't personally think they are. But yeah.
But we paid. I think we paid 47 million for Onana. Is this his second season? Is it 2 years now with Onana? Was his first? Yeah. So we would have played 2 years, and 47. We know the amortization. What would it be like? A little bit less than 10 million a year. So if we could get in the summer, if we could get 40, 30, 25 to 30 million, I think we will break even on Onana when you retract the amortization. So we won't get a loss when it comes to the FFP. So I think we could get that amount of money for Onana. Maybe even more. Maybe 35 on a good day.
Do you agree with this theory that myself and lots of others have, that they're really, for one thing, there aren't that many good goalkeepers nowadays, and for two, there aren't that many good strikers nowadays. Like back in the day, there was a plethora of strikers. Yeah, you know, Alan Shearer, Van Nistelrooy, Cantona, Les Ferdinand. You know, you can just think of loads. But nowadays, there really aren't that many good strikers, and this is why it's so hard for United, because really your list of strikers is, you can count it on one hand. Gyökeres, Osimhen, maybe Sékou from Red Bull or whoever it is. There's really not that many, and I don't know what they're going to do, because, like I said, there's not many to choose from, is there?
No, I mean, no. Also in the summer, a lot of teams require a striker. Chelsea, Arsenal. I heard even Barcelona, because Lewandowski is getting older. Bayern Munich. So a lot of clubs, big clubs, are looking for a striker, because, you know, Harry Kane is getting older. So it will be a tough competition. And quite honestly, I don't think we will get Gyökeres. I think it will be too expensive for. I think there will be a bidding war for him. And why would he come to Man United? We probably know Europe next season, and we're not looking good, even though we have the Amorim pool. And the same comes with Osimhen. I dream of a player like Osimhen. You know, I'm a big fan of him. I said the last stream, I saw him in the AFCON when he played for Nigeria, and he's no luxury player who works his socks off. He works really hard for the team, and this is what I would like to see from a striker. Works hard, never gives up a ball, always constantly chasing, and he has that extra quality when it comes to finishing and scoring goals. So I would actually go for Osimhen over Gyökeres.
Same here, and the reason being is because I want a striker that scares the living daylights of the defenders. Yeah, I want a striker who goes into the box for a header and pushes the defender into the goal with the ball. I want someone strong and physical. That's what we need at United. We need someone to get on the end of these crosses and not give a damn about if he's going to get his head cut open. He just goes in there and gets the goal. So I'm with you. I would prefer Ozan. I reckon if there is a chance that Garnacho wants to go to Napoli, and I think there is, because they were talking about the fact that he was asking for too much salary, which shows you Garnacho actually wanted to go there. I reckon if he does go there, then we get a discount on Osimhen, and I think he would come, because there's pictures of him with Igalo in the past with a Man United shirt, and there's obviously some kind of connection that he does actually like Man United. So
okay, so interesting. Could be. But for me, Osimhen. But I see here Josef comes in and say Gyökeres is in his prime and he wants Champions League football, and I think that's our biggest problem. If not a miracle happen and we go on and win Europa League and get qualified for Champions League next season, what do you reckon? What's our chances?
I think we can win it. I mean, if you look at the teams that are left in it, Jarvis, it's not like it's Barcelona and bloody Bayern and Real Madrid, you know. It's some really poor teams in there. And I'm not saying that we're brilliant right now, but at the end of the day, if we want to get into Champions League, this is the only way to do it. So I'd expect our players to put 200% shift in. So I see us as favourites. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me that Ahmed's not playing. We shouldn't be a one-man team anyway. He's obviously he's done very well this season, but recently he hasn't been amazing. So I still think we can win it.
Yeah. I would actually say lately I think even Garnacho has been more impactful than Diallo, Ahmad. So at the moment I think Garnacho is more important than Diallo. I think he's been looking really good after the Napoli rumors came out, and he has something to prove. And also, I think Amorim mentioned that Garnacho has improved. So yeah, I don't know. I want to bring in this comment. The number 9 is suited for Premier League is very, very few these days. So maybe Liam Delap, the Ipswich striker, another youngsters. What do you reckon?
He scored again today. From what I've heard,
he drew. Yeah, 1-1.
Yeah. From what I've heard, Man City have got a buyout clause on him. So I think if he gets to the level that is really good, they're going to be the ones who buy him anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But again, it depends, doesn't it? Because if Ipswich go down, which they probably will, he may not want to go down with them. And therefore, he may be looking to go next year. And maybe City aren't ready to buy him next year because they've got Haaland and they've just bought Marmoush.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't
true,
know.
true.
But again, Chelsea, just because Chelsea have bought 3 teams worth of players recently and spent $1 billion, they're always trying to buy more players. So again, it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to get him as well.
I just want to go back to the poll I started. Should Amorim play the youth? And 76% of the chat people, 42 votes, said yes. So people wants Amorim to start the youth. And I will put on another poll, and it will be easy. Have you liked the stream? It's so easy, and all of you should answer yes on this, because now it's not about subscribers anymore. When it comes to YouTube, it's about interaction, and the only way you can help this channel is to smash the like. It's so important, and all the comments you leave, and after the show ends, put in a comment in the non-live section, whatever. Say thumbs up, good show, Jarvis, give me your score prediction, whatever. It's so important for the algorithms, and my God, we need every help we can get from you guys. You are the channel. It's not me, it's not Stu, it's you guys, the devilish tacticos, who can bring this channel up. And if you like my voice and the people that coming on, Jarvis's friends, keep liking every time, and we will reach our targets. So thank you, everybody. Elite Baller coming in, like the stream, people. That's good. Couple of more comments before we end the show. Trevor Wade comes in and say the lap seems to be strong. He's able to hold up the ball and he can score. Yes, an all-round package. Yes, that one I agree with. It's brilliant. The lap is good. The only worry is another youngster into this team. We need some old heads too leading the lines. So when it comes to striker and goalkeeper, I would like to have a more experienced player. The rest positions, we can bring in youngsters, but striker and goalkeeper, 2 most important roles. So that's my take on Delap. Even though he's a brilliant player and he could be a magnificent signing, and we can even get him on the cheap if Ipswich goes down. I don't know. They are in a battle with Wolves for the last spot in the Premier League for next season. Trevor Wade also comes in and say, great show, Jarvis and Fair Play Elite. Great chat. Yes, it's been a good chat. We are 1 hour 43 minutes into the chat, and I don't want to keep you from jumping into bed and get a good night's sleep. There's a game tomorrow. We have to be prepared. After the game, Stu and I will be here and do our tactical match reaction and break down whatever we saw in the game with live clips from the game and the tactical board as usual. So it's been a good show. Thank you, Elite Baller, for coming in. Do you want to shout out your channel before we end the show?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I do appreciate that. I'll just put a link in the chat. Yeah, there you go. So that's my channel. Still very small. I do put content on there. I'm actually going to do a review about the Spurs game, so you can hear me get really upset about the stupid team that Amorim's put out tomorrow. But hopefully not. Hopefully, Jarvis, he picks the teams that we all want. A brave team set up to attack. Because look, at the end of the day, we're in a mess, but Spurs are also in a mess. They're vulnerable. They've got lots of injuries. So why don't we just be brave, and why don't we just go there and attack and just try our best and be passionate and play some youngsters who are gonna like make their debuts, and we'll look back at this day in a few years' time and we'll see this is where it all started to make sense. So
Yes, 100% agree with what you're saying. I also want us to just go out there with no fear, not thinking consequences, just attack, score goals, and really put them under pressure, because it's Spurs. You know, they are not good this season. If they lose, Postecoglou will most likely be sacked, and they will change their manager. So let's just do our best and go for it. You know, I don't want us to sitting back and trying to control the game and go for a draw or something like that, or nick the winner in the dying minutes. It's not the United way. Let's go out there and win the game. So thank you for those finishing words, Elite Baller. Thank you for Josef. Big up Josef, subbed. Thank you. We need all the subscribers we can get. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. We are on 550 approximately right now. So keep those subscription coming. Thank you, Josef. I hope I see you here tomorrow after the Spurs game with Stu and I, and we will break down the game tactically. Big up to J United, who came in late. Big up my good friend Trevor Wade with all his comments. Jules coming in. Let's see. I just want to and Jarle Malmin, Rusty Shackleford, Mr. B, and Danny B. All of the B's, fantastic. MF Zeno coming in, and Mick in the beginning of the show coming in with comments from MUFC Realist TV. So it's been a good show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Now it's time to get some sleep, and we will see you after game tomorrow. So have a good one, everybody, and good night.